so wonderful to have the opportunity to speak with you today. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Can I just say, you make one badass cowgirl. Wow, are you ever
Yeah.
fabulous in this movie? I loved it so,
Yeah.
so much. And I want to ask you, what was your initial reaction when you were actually presented this? Because I can't imagine that it wasn't a no-brainer. I am doing this role.
Yeah, I read it, and particularly, I think after I read it, I started just like looking into the characters and sort of the history of Black people in the West, and
Yes.
I didn't really realize like how many of us were there. Obviously, we were all across the country, but um, you know, it's something like 25% of people who lived sort of in the old West were Black people. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that feels so, um, I feel like in media, we just don't really see that. And so I immediately felt like, oh, this is something I have to tell and I want to be a part of. And I want to show people that we were there and we were a part of this narrative, this like iconic American narrative, really. And to also just give sort of a new spin on the spaghetti Western seemed like such a fun thing to do. And that was, yeah, a really,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I loved it so much. And how much prep did you have to do for the horseback riding, the gunplay? I mean, everything that you did in this was so stylized. I
Mm.
couldn't stop watching you. You were amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, all of us, we did cowboy camp, which was everyday horseback and gun practice, or whatever your like specialized thing was, and then also some dialect coaching for those of us who wanted it and needed it.
Yeah.
And Yeah, it was definitely, there was a lot of training involved. It was like a part of our regimen to get ready for the film. And I think it paid off. Some of us didn't know how to horseback ride at all, and I think
Right.
are convincing. I could some because I had as a child, and so it was like fun to get back on the horse, I guess, and to play with that. So yeah, it was definitely a lot of prep work in terms of that, and reading about the lives of people who lived during this time, and sort of imbuing that energy into our film.
Yeah. Now, let's just talk about the jackpot of a cast that is in this film. Honestly, were you always on set kind of going like, am I really here? Like working with this amazing cast?
I mean, I just feel that about like, I can't believe I'm here in this industry doing this right now. Like, it definitely is a moment, for me, like bonding with Regina, who is such an icon in our industry, and Idris, and then also just getting to work with like Lakeith again, and
Yeah. Oh,
Delroy. Yeah, it was, I did feel like, ooh, I'm this like new, I don't know, this like new face with all these people who I, have looked up to. And, it is a special moment to be able to meet and be peers with people that you've, whose work you've watched. And so yeah, I feel like I'm in a perpetual state of pinch me, to be
oh,
honest.
please. You deserve it. You're so fantastic. Now, I got to tell you, when I'm watching this film, it's so stylized, like I said to you earlier, and the music just adds so
Yeah.
much depth to it. Aside from the amazing kick-ass scenes you have with Regina, I got to tell you, that shootout, when you and Jonathan, like the choreography to me was brilliant. Can you take me back to that and just tell me about shooting that scene with him?
Yeah, that gosh, thanks for noticing that, because we worked really hard on that. That was mine and Jonathan's main like thing to work on during our kind of gun training, essentially, or like choreography gun training. That we really tried to work out the kinks of, and it was all about timing, and there's just like a lot of different things going on. Overall, that big shootout is like everybody's having their own kind of like little
Sure.
B storyline, including us. And that was, yeah, that when we finished shooting that, we were like, wow, that's done now. Up until that moment, we were really, until the day of, like, okay, what is the footing here? What is this? What is that? And then it changes, of course, when you get to set, because it's a totally different, layout. And then what's the camera going to do, and blah, 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 blah. And so I appreciate that you noticed it, because we did try really hard.
Well, I have to tell you, once it hits Netflix, I am going to watch that movie over and over, because it is so fabulous, and you are amazing in it. Thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I do too. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Have a good one.